Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is Yankee and the Brit Sports Talk. And today we're going to give you top 5 wide receiver prospects for this upcoming draft. Maddie, this is a deep, deep class of wide receivers. There's going to be wide receivers that are going to be able to play in this league in round 5.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe not the top caliber of guys, but I mean, if you're looking for top quality slot receivers, then just wait till round 5 and take them there.
All right, well, we'll just start this off going 5-1. I got at number 5, Drake London, USC, 6'5", 209. He is amazing on 50-50 balls, and I'm going to steal your line from our mock draft. He turns them into 60-40 balls. He's great size, great skills. He's got a lack of speed, which is a little nervous, and he doesn't get a lot of yards after the catch. So that's why he's 5th for me, because the separation makes me a little nervous, but he's still an athletic freak.
He's Des Bryant. Like that. As I was watching this film, I was like, oh, holy shit, Des Bryant's that. Also, just on that note, has anybody seen Des Bryant catching in practice recently, doing crazy one-handed shit? But Drake London is Des Bryant, never got the, like, it's not like he's slow as fuck. Like he can get down the field in the time you need to get down the field.
Well, yeah, he's going to outrun me.
Yeah, he's not going to outrun the corner is the problem. Like, he won't outrun the corner in that out route. But if you can throw it high enough, he'll just go up and get it.
And if he runs good enough routes, he'll get enough separation in the NFL. It's different than college.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think he... I've got him ranked quite a bit higher than that. And I think he's one of the guys... He's possibly the wide receiver that changes the most on people's big boards and wide receiver ranking drafts and stuff. And I think he's a horses for courses kind of guy. I've got him going to the Washington football team because I think he's a perfect fit there with Carson Wentz's ability just to throw up their balls, even when they don't need to be up their balls for 50-50s. But I think he's a perfect fit for them. So I've got him ranked a little bit higher. At number 5 for me, I've got Chris Olave. These Ohio State wide receivers, they seem to be falling a little bit. And I'm not overly convinced by them, but you can't argue with the production. You can't argue with the production. You can't argue with the consensus stuff on them. But what you can argue with is they're just so wide open. Like every single highlight they have, they're so incredibly wide open that it's scheme and not them. So, like, because you don't get that wide open unless it's scheme. Like no corners are getting burned that badly unless your wide receiver is getting schemed open. And in the NFL, I just don't think you get schemed that wide open a lot of the time. So that would be my question on the Ohio State ones. What's a definite is the production that they make there, the fact that they can run the routes to the exact scheme that you want them to. So if you're Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan, where you just say, hey, run this route and you'll be open, then it's a Chris Olave. That's who you want. It's these Ohio State guys. And also the yards after the catch is also pretty impressive from Chris Olave.
I'll be honest, I have no Ohio State receivers in my top 5.
Nice. Neither does Chris Sims.
Well, I haven't seen what Chris has to say yet, but I do like listening to him, so I'm going to have to check out his podcast before the draft. At number 4, I got Christian Watson, North Dakota State, 6'4", 210. My comparables, DK Metcalf, Claypool. He's fast. He's got size. He's got great skills with body control, explosive in and out of cuts. He's big after yards after the catch. And if it wasn't for drops, he'd probably be higher.
Are you sure you haven't been listening to Chris Sims? Because that is exactly the same as what he said. He just went, do you like Chase Claypool? Do you like DK Metcalf? Well, then you're going to like this guy. And that's...
I'm liking the hairdo even better right now. That's what I call Chris Sims, it never moves.
But yeah, a great wide receiver. I drops are my biggest pet peeves from wide receivers. They're game ruined. They drive ruinous for me. Like drops just drops are the kind of thing that make me fucking punch walls when I'm watching the Dallas Cowboys. When CeeDee Lamb or Gallup, Amari Cooper didn't drop balls, but CeeDee Lamb got that case of the drops. It's just like, we've done everything right. We've done absolutely everything right. And all you needed to do was it's all it needed to be. And that's when they drop it. So I couldn't have him in my top 5 because when I'm watching his tape, I'm getting annoyed because I'm like, just fucking catch the ball. But yeah, physical traits. That's 2 big guys that you've taken 4 and 5. 2 very big guys. At number 4 for me, I have the other Ohio State wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, and I've got him because he's a slightly better after the catch and downfield player than Chris Olave.
Well, they're both my number 6 guy.
Yeah, they're 6 foot guys, and if they go to places like the 49ers or if the Rams, for some reason, they won't go to the Rams because they don't pick till pick 110 or something. But teams like that where they run kind of funky offenses and Arizona Cardinals, that kind of place, then these guys are going to have incredible careers. But just as out and out wide receivers, I worry for them a little. But you just can't argue with the production a lot of the time. When you get this much production, and also their measurables are pretty impressive. They're pretty fucking quick, and that's quite a lot in the NFL as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a little biased because I'm a Wisconsin fan and we love.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Well, we do chant, "We hate Ohio State. We hate Ohio State." So yeah, I think there's, like we said, deep receiver class. There's going to be way different top 5s, I'm sure, around the league. But at number 3 for me, I got Alec Pierce, Cincinnati, 6'3", 210. He's really fast. He's the best route runner in the draft, if you ask me. He's an amazing athlete, and I love that he will high point the ball. He goes up and gets it at the highest point. I hate when receivers do not do that, so I love that about this kid. I've
got a number 3. Cincinnati use Alec Pierce as well.
Wow, there we go.
Yeah. Now, Alec Pierce is just so super fast. It's just ridiculous. And in today's NFL, that's really important.
And he's 6'3".
Yeah, and if you just watch some actual tape on him as well, like not highlight tape, if you watch like just a few Cincinnati plays, he's open all of the time, and that's why you shouldn't take Desmond Ridder as your quarterback, because that dude is open all of the time and Ridder just doesn't hit him at all. And it's like he's not only schemed open because Cincinnati seems to be able to do that, but he just goes into joystick mode like Tyreek Hill. He's just so quick that it's like, right, well, you can't keep up with me, so I'm just going to run into this space, and he doesn't get hit with it. But on top of that, just ridiculous speed, he doesn't just go joystick modes all the time. He can run perfect routes. He can Amari Cooper, that kind of thing, and just run a really, really nice route as well. And if he had a better quarterback, he'd have more production. You need to see a little bit of production in order to raise him up the board. We need to see it. Should we find out if he has a case of the drops, if he gets thrown the ball more? Let's find out. But he just didn't get targeted enough at all. Very low on people's big boards, but should be getting a lot higher.
Well, there's a saying in the U.S., Maddie, call me 7-Eleven because I'm open 24/7.
He is. He's a 24/7 Tesco.
Well, we are the same at 3. Are we the same at 2? We will see. Jameis Williams, Alabama, 6'2", 190. He's faster than Jerry Jeudy. He's a great route runner. I kind of compare him to Jerry Jeudy, but he's faster, stronger, breaks tackles. The negative is the ACL, missing the games. Yeah.
Jameis Williamson is the best wide receiver in this class. if it wasn't for the injuries, which is why I've not got him at number 2. I've got him at number 1 because we know that ACLs can get fixed. And he'll miss a few games, fine. But he's the best wide receiver in this draft. He runs the best routes. He's a quicker version of Jerry Jeudy, as you say. His hands are incredible. He's the best wide receiver in this class, in my personal opinion. For my number 2, I have Drake London. And I think Drake London, there are issues with him.
You don't even have my number 1 on your list.
No, it doesn't seem that way. I'm interested into who your number 1 is. I feel like I've just missed him.
I guess that's how many receivers they are.
Yeah, I feel like I've just missed it. Well, the fact that I have the 2 Ohio State guys on there and you don't have them must mean that there was going to be a massive shock, massive surprise in there. But Drake London is just huge. He turns things into 60-40s. For the right team, he's going to be a different kind of player for them, a different kind of caliber of player for them. And I think a lot of that is the right fit for the right team. But I really, really like Drake London for his size and also his hands and just being able to compete for the ball. And I think we're saying that cornerbacks have to, when we were doing our cornerback video, it's like cornerbacks have to get better for the wide receivers and cornerbacks are becoming more physical, which is going to mean that wide receivers in turn are going to have to become more physical. You're either getting these guys who are going to be like ridiculously physical, ridiculously huge guys who can turn 50-50 balls into 60-40, 70-30 balls. You're going to have to go that way, or you're going to have to go the Alec Pierce way where it's just outrun those massive fucking cornerbacks, and Drake London is those kind of challenging guys. And at number 1, I have James Williamson. So who do you have at number 1?
Treylon Burke, Arkansas. He's got great size. His yards after the catch are amazing. Mm-hmm. He's got great hands. His hands are fucking huge too. He can play inside in the slot. He can play outside. He's a natural blocker. He can run sweeps. He can run the toss. I love him. It's comparable to me, Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, he's my 6, but he's my 4th weapon. Like, he's more of a weapon wide receiver again. And the way that the NFL goes, that is the way that the NFL goes, that a weapon is a weapon, and that's totally fine. But I see him as my, I see him as more of a weapon.
I see him as Deebo Samuel's, almost half of your offense if you get him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true, actually, the more that you think of that. But if it's in a wide receiver thing, if I needed a wide receiver, an out-and-out wide receiver, I'm not sure I would take him to fill that role. But if I needed a weapon, that's who I'm taking. I think is why I don't have him on the list.
Yeah, it was just, that's so weird because not even in the, you know what I mean? My number one's not even in your top 5. And that's
a horses for courses kind of thing. That's a horses for courses kind of thing. And I just think with wide receivers, you do just need to pick the guy who fits your defense the best, like the offense. Sorry, the best. There's no. The wide receivers are so dime a dozen at the minute that there's not a lot of drop off a lot of the time in this, and you just pick the guy who's going to fix your offense the best. If the 49ers get rid of Deebo Samuel and they take Treylon Burks, then you're like, yeah, do it. No matter who's on the board, if they take Treylon Burks, you're like, yeah, that's the right move for you guys. But if a team who play, I don't know, like the Cowboys play quite traditional wide receiver, quarterback kind of football, I would say to them, or maybe take a James Williamson, who gets ridiculous amounts of separation. Take a Drake London because he high punches the ball and is that outside wide receiver guy that you're looking for. And Alex Pierce, that kind of ridiculously quick guy. But if you're just looking for a weapon, then I could totally understand taking Burks.
And I have to say, right as we were recording our mock draft yesterday, which of course is going to happen since we're speaking wide receivers, Kadarius Toney asks to be traded out of New York. And And I heard the
Kadarius
Giants
Toney's
are
ridiculous.
stopping him.
Yeah. Kadarius Toney's just ridiculous, really, for doing that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying now they might have to draft a wide receiver too now.
Mm-hmm. If they're getting rid of, if you're changing out Kadarius Toney, then the Treylon Burke is the guy that you go for there, isn't it? Because Tony's that kind of more weapon than wide receiver kind of guy as well.
I'm all for them trading and taking a receiver with one of their first 2 picks. So it's offensive. That's what I want to see go with the first 11 picks. Offense.
That's weird. It shows even more that Toney was the wrong guy for them to take in the first round. I remember brutalizing them for taking him in the first round last year.
Yeah, and he showed flashes at times, but
he was awesome against the Cowboys. He was
where he wants to be, and not everybody can play in that New York market, dude. They're brutal to you.
Yeah, definitely. And I just he's got the potential to be a really good wide receiver, but I can't believe he's asking to get traded when what did he do last year? He flashed in a couple of games. He flashed against the Cowboys. He looked incredible. In a couple of games he really flashed, and then he got injured. So I don't know how you kind of dare ask for a trade off the back of that.
Wide receivers and quarterbacks are moving around more than we've seen. And we're not talking free agent, like middle of the road wide receivers and quarterbacks. And even Carson Wentz, who's probably above average, he's really paid like a top guy, which makes it even weirder that they moved him. You're looking at Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, like these dudes are being moved. It's such a crazy offseason.
I think it's like when you have such a good draft and then you've got people asking you for 30 million, you just think, right, well, I'll chance my arm with one of these guys instead then.
It's weird that's what it is, right? Because LA or Las Vegas and Miami are like, no, we want to pay for a proven commodity. Yeah. Where Green Bay and Kansas City are like, man, we'll get somebody in the draft and still have 30 million left.
Yeah, well, the difference there is Miami are paying rookie quarterback money still, so they can afford to go get Hill to make their rookie quarterback kind of work. And then the Raiders Derek Carr's the most underpaid quarterback in the league. I know he's just got a new deal, but it's not like the fucking craziest deal of all time.
No, and it's such a weird deal because they can cut him after this year with like $2 million penalty.
Yeah, they've just managed the Raiders have somehow managed to just get the most team-friendly quarterback of all time.
They put him in a room and they Bill Belichicked him, dude. They were like, do you want to do it the right way? Do you want to leave money for everybody else?
Yeah, exactly. He's been treated like shit in that organization for quite some time, with John Gruden being like, oh my God, but Derek Carr is the most patient and fucking best dude ever.
And they did give him
now he's got this new coach.
They gave him his best friend, his college roommate in Devontae Adams.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a big showing that the new regime is like, no, we got your back. Now you got to do something for us.
Yeah, he might be the most underrated quarterback in the league. Like,
you know me, I'm a fan of the guy.
Yeah, he's like the best not top 10 quarterback anybody could ever hope for. Because like his talent level will never put him in the top 10.
But he plays between the top 13 and a top 5, depending on the game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like he's not you would never say he's a top 10 guy, but then he comes in and he has a game where you're like, dude, he just played better than everybody else this week.
Yeah, and he's just like he throws for, he had those seasons where he was throwing for like 400 yards a game, like just routinely for a while. Like, and then does it get talked about for MVP?
Leader too. I like how he leads his team.
Yeah, like the Raiders should have fallen apart this year. So if you've got that guy who's giving you a team-friendly deal, then you can pay Devontae Adams. If you've got Aaron Rodgers who's
right, but there's just such a different look from certain teams because there's certain teams who just aren't going to pay a receiver $30 million anymore with the receivers coming in the draft.
Yeah, I just think, I also think if you've got Aaron Rodgers who's holding your ass over the fire, then like...
And you know Minnesota's going to break Justin Jefferson off after this year. The Cowboys are going to have to break CeeDee Lamb off. Like, and these are teams that are actually going to pay their receivers.
Yeah, the Cowboys will want... one, Justin Jefferson, once in a generation talent, keep hold of that guy. 2, CeeDee Lamb is homegrown for the Cowboys, and you know how we love to pay homegrown.
Hey, are you going to get a better receiver though? You're not. He's a really good receiver. Like, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, exactly. Which means that we will just pay him. And also, we do seem to get some pretty nice deals from our homegrown players, like every now and again. Apart from Dak, but we kind of fucked Dak over. So, that deal's looking better and better.
Yeah, Dak and Zeke were the rough ones to swallow if you're a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, but I mean, Dak's deal's looking better and better in the light of Deshaun Watson's however many million guaranteed and all of that shit.
So, all right, guys. Well, stay tuned. We'll be bringing you some more stuff before the draft hits. Make sure you go check out our mock draft round 1. We'll make some updates to that before draft day. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.